We are here with Epic Break One Take, brought to you by ACC. The storm at the end of the event got us yesterday, so we're coming in a little late. Awesome event, Backdoor King and Queen of the Point, presented by Quiksilver, Roxy and the WSL. We're going to go through the top 5 talking points from yesterday, and always over 120 minutes, Gav.
We'll try our best, mate. It was a huge 5 days over there in Raglan, and yeah, mate, we finished that prize giving with me at seconds before that storm rolled in and absolutely detonated on top of everyone. But it was pretty hectic drive home as well. But everyone hopefully had a great time and got home safely, and there's surf at home, so that's stoked. I'm going to crack in. Top 5 had to be the surf community. The whole surf community is just buzzing. I was obviously talked about a quick surf this morning. The car park at my local is just all go, all chat about it. But importantly, yesterday on the points at Raglan, the whole car park, there was cars parallel parked and inside out and double parked all the way up the hill. The locals had their little spot up on the hill like they do on the grass. It was just, mate, it was like, it reminded me of like an old 90s old surf comp sort of vibe. Everyone just parked up, boots open, into it. The families there, the board riders, crews had travelled. We know there was Keyhole and a few crew from the Mount had come over. Like, people had travelled to be there to support their surfers. So to see that buzz around the surf community, I think that is a testament to the interest that is wrapped around this WSL event coming to town. So bring on the big one in May. We're excited, but I know our surf community of Aotearoa is fizzing for it.
100%. Number 4 for me, the Prince and Princess, Alexis Owen and Alani Morse. Huge field of junior surfers at this event. These two put on big performances. Awesome final from all of the 8 finalists combined. For me, it was Alani, great surfing, got the wins, sign of things to come for her as well. And Alexis Owen nailed that final right at the end as well. One of those mini buzzer beaters of the day.
Yeah, they were standouts, right the way through that whole division. The second to last day obviously ran under 20s all day in some testing, will be polite, testing conditions. And they still stood out in amongst that. So stoked to see them carry it on and take the win. Another one, probably more for me, leaning back into that whole sort of community vibe. Cora Cooper in that final took off on that wave and just hammered that first turn, and then you saw the next section stand up, and we're like, man, he's going to go for it, and you're kind of like fizzing on it. I remember him saying it, and as he went for it, he just like hooked in, and then he got detonated on, right, like full wipeout. But the roar from the crowd, like from along the point, and I think half of that was just people who didn't even know him, but really I think a massive crew from the Raglan community were down there. We know they were, but the roar from them, just as he leaned into it for the commitment to the turn, but then when he didn't make it, it wasn't even like disappointment. It was just that rally of support around him, and just it was almost like hooting him. So I alluded to it in the prize giving that he kind of carried the Raglan community on his shoulders in that one. And man, he stood up for them, and it was so cool to hear that. Just that noise come out of the crowd. It was like being, at a rugby stadium or something. So you don't very often get that surfing. So that was a pretty special moment yesterday, I reckon.
Yeah, totally. Number 2, and we're getting into our winners here, but of course, Alani Morse with a buzzer beater in the final minute of that 30-minute final.
How was it?
Came through clutch. She identified, first she had nerves of steel, I guess, but secondly, she identified one of those waves that those locals find, and they come down the point and they offer that scoring opportunity. And she was clutch. She got it. She nailed it. She claimed the wave, and she was hooting.
Yeah.
And when I talked to her after the final too, she's like, "Yeah, I really thought I got the score, and I didn't want to jump up and down, but I believed I got the score." So that was really cool. And that celebration when she came in.
Oh, dude,
that was special.
Almost catches me now. How I went over to say, just congrats to her and with the family and that, and started actually tearing up a bit, like just because that emotional situation around that whole thing was just incredible. In fact, actually, obviously online, I think even I've shared a backdoor edit on the Surfing New Zealand socials just before, and there's, man, you could see how much it meant. So that was pretty special. But dude, that wave, it was so out of it too. It didn't even look like much, but she saw it and she took it and she delivered on it. And then I guess for me, I mean, it's got to be said, and you know what? I know people are like, oh, but that was because they won. Yeah, damn right, it's because they won. Because man, what it took to win that event this week with the conditions that we got thrown, they should be our top 5 highlights. And so yeah, number 1 goes to Tom Butland for his win in the Open Men's, our king of the point. I just love Tommy B, how he's 100% in. He just gives it his all. Like he does, you know, like you don't. I mean, not to be rude, you look at the guy, I don't think he's an air guy. Man, he throws big airs and on some hefty waves too.
Yeah.
He can still grovel it out too, but man, he just goes all in. When he's on, he's all in. So he's had, you know, some niggly injuries and stuff in the last 12 months as well. He's probably in the last couple of years could have leaned back more into like making video parts and movies and things like that. But to come out from being like the content guy to being the contest guy again, and man, you knew he was going to be a contender, but geez, he just, again, you know, that clutch result and that once he got the 8.5 in, I remember him saying that 8.5, and I honestly had this thing where I was just like, he's going to get this. And I don't know why, because at that stage he still had like, what was it, a 7-8 or something he needed to get. But I was just like, I felt like you could see that he was like, he just needed that moment, and then that just switched him on. And man, when someone like that switches on, it's danger. So stoked for Tommy B. The messages through last night into the early hours, and then even today on the phones around that have been ecstatic. So I think also too that's pretty rad for both Tommy B and Alani, that like they are the people's champions. It's a cliche word, but man, you've seen it. Like Tommy B, the coolest thing for me, his competitors put him on their own shoulders, clambered over the rocks with him.
Right.
That
100%.
Cora and Teo, like just picking him up, and just they were so stoked for him. That's pretty special, bro. Yeah.
Totally agree. And that wraps it up, really. That's the top 5 from the Backdoor King and Queen of the Point, presented by Quiksilver, Roxy, and the WSL. We'll be back with another edition and another event, and waiting for that May competition to roll around. Can't wait.
It's going to be massive.
Cheers, Gab.
See you, Bolt.